Have you ever wondered what marketing mistakes you could be making in your business? Wouldn't it be great to avoid those? And wouldn't it be awesome to have a few tips that could help you increase your business, your client base, and your revenue? Today's experts in the Bounce Up Studio will be talking about marketing, and that will help you increase your business. So today we have Rachel Whitfield and we have Hannah Samlow from Waterloo Street. Rachel and Hannah, welcome. And what I'd love our audience to know is that the two of you, not only do you work with local makers and companies, but you also have a client base of some celebrity movers and shakers. How exciting!
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of the show today.
Absolutely. I would love to be able to share some of those movers and shakers, but I know that is against contract rules for you. But what we're going to do today is tap into your knowledge if that works for you.
Absolutely. Yes. Excited to share.
Let's start with mistakes because I found people love to find out what are mistakes to avoid. So could you start with at least one mistake that you can share with our audience?
Absolutely. I think the biggest mistake that people make in marketing is not putting a face to their business. So the example that I like to use is that when you are searching for a restaurant on Yelp, we are bombarded with maybe all of these 5-star restaurants and they all have great reviews, but you go to the reviews and you're reading the reviews and one of them says, oh, the owner of the restaurant came out and said hello and introduced himself and his daughter was working at the restaurant that evening. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that sounds like such a great place. I'd love for the owner to come and introduce himself. And you will probably choose that over even places that just say the food's great, environment's great. So just having that little personal touch and letting people know the person behind the business is huge and will do wonders for your business because, as we say, people buy from people. They don't buy from companies, right?
Right. And that makes so much sense, especially whenever we are going out to dinner, we're going with, either a group of friends or family members. So having that connection, that personal connection makes it more relatable. Mm-hmm. Is that the key behind it?
Absolutely. Just letting people know. So we're all in the digital age, obviously bombarded with all of these options. So
definitely.
There could be two people that offer the same exact service, and you're probably going to go with the person that you feel that you relate to more because you think that that person would probably be better to work with. You can relate to them more. They have kids, you have kids, whatever the relation between the two of you may be, the similarities. Again, you could have the same services and you'll choose the person that you relate to more. So if there isn't that personal touch, people will probably go with somebody who they can relate to versus, I don't know the person behind this business, so I'm going to go with this person because they look nice. So,
well, with it, not only a photo, but it sounds like a story, some type of background about that business owner. Is that where you're going with this? Are you segueing from not only a face, a picture, but also the story?
Yes, absolutely. The story, the person behind the business. And one of the things that we see people do a lot to kind of reshare as they get followers on whatever social media platform, they'll just do a quick reintroduction every once in a while. This is who I am. This is how I got started. Here are a couple of fun facts about me. Just once every couple months or so, just to remind anybody that was following you before, like, hey, if you forgot about me, this is who I am. But also to all of the people that have just met me or just started following me, just doing a quick reintroduction so that they can get to know the person behind the brand. And maybe they like Gilmore Girls and you like Gilmore Girls, and they might reach out and start a conversation because you all have something in common that could turn into a professional relationship down the road.
Makes great sense there. So not only the photo, but also the story behind it.
Mhm.
And what is a mistake when it comes to the story behind? Is there too much that you could share or not enough? What do you think plays into that?
I think a lot of people like to share their credentials, right? Like you like to
Right.
share if you have multiple degrees, or if you went to school and studied different things, or if you have different certifications. And that's great. And obviously, that definitely positions you as an expert. But when it comes to something digestible in marketing related, have that, you can have that information on your LinkedIn so that if they ever needed to find that information, what is the expertise, where did they study, anything like that, they could find that information. But I don't think necessarily when introducing yourself, you need to list out your resume, right? So it should be something quick and easy that you can show your expertise without listing out your resume, and people aren't really as worried about the different certifications, obviously within respect to your profession, but definitely just making it digestible to show your expertise in the most straightforward way possible.
Thank you. That's great. Now, what would be a second, or is there a second mistake that you could share?
Sure. So I think that the second biggest mistake we see in marketing is business experts not listening to their audience. With all of these, we talked in our website conversation about all of these different platforms out there: TikTok, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. There's all these different platforms, and we're all putting out a bunch of amazing content, posting on Instagram every day, making sure your LinkedIn's up to date, getting on a Clubhouse chat. So there's all these different places that we're putting out content. But the mistake, and that's great, but the mistake that I see is people not listening to their audience. So stopping and asking, what is it that you want from me in a freebie that I'm releasing next quarter? Instead of just saying, oh, I think this is a great idea. I'm going to put this together in a freebie and give it out to my audience, and they're going to love it. And then when I send it out in an email, I hear crickets. An example of that would be in our business. We had a number of people coming to us last year asking for a DIY option for their website. So maybe beginning stage entrepreneurs that weren't ready to invest in a fully custom website, but they still needed a website presence and were not prepared to custom design the whole thing on their own. So we launched a series of website templates where it was still drag and drop. It's still a beautiful strategy website, but they can do it themselves. They can change out their colors. They can change out their fonts. They can do it themselves. So that was something that our audience was asking for that we released.
Which makes sense. So what does it come down to when you hear someone ask for maybe 2 times, 3 times, whenever, because there's that old saying that our customers tell us what business we're in. How many contacts or how many touches, or that's not even the right word, how many times when someone asks that you really need to look into creating a product or a freebie around that request?
That's a great question. I think that it depends on your business. If 5 people have come to you and said, hey, I really want a checklist of like what business tools you use in your business as a business coach. What CRM do you use? What accounting software do you use? What website platform do you use? If you're getting those questions on a regular basis and it makes you stop and think, oh, there's a number of people asking me for these things. Maybe I should put it together in a resource. I think that that's your call as a business owner. Like when it makes you stop and think, a number of people have come to me and asked me for this, I should put it together or package it somehow.
And to piggyback off of that, not to get too deep into the pricing aspect of it, but it's also how much time are you spending answering those questions?
Mm-hmm.
How much would be worth it for you to just say, here's a link to purchase this? It could be $4.99. It doesn't have to be like $4.99. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But if it would take time off your plate, off of you answering those questions, the same question over and over again, it's probably worth thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
I get asked a lot. So in my book, my Bounce Up book, I have a section about creating your power team. And it goes back to the Jim Rohn's quote, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So with it, I give 5 categories, 5 types of people to have in your circle of influence. I get so many questions around that topic and that section in the book. I also use that idea in any of my presentations and my workshops. And that is one of the things that people always come up afterwards and say, MJ, can you give me a little bit more information about it? So you're saying that would be a great one for me to create a product around.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Or even just, so something similar to what you're talking about happened in our business. This is a conversation for another day, but we transitioned from marketing to be a website design agency. And we've done that in the last 12 months. And we've had a number of people come to us and message us on Instagram and just say, hey, I would love to get on the phone for an hour and just talk about, if you could just like give me some tips on building my business and how you started a website design agency, et cetera, et cetera. So we, instead of saying, you know what, we are so booked this week, we started having to say like, we're so booked this week, but maybe we could touch base like in another month. What we started doing is we set up a Calendly and we would say, you can book a time on our calendar for an hour and we can have a strategy call, and we treated it like a mentorship. So we listened to our audience. A number of people came to us and wanted to know how we did this, how we built this business. And so we listened and created a product and said, sure, you can book a call on our calendar and we can talk about strategy. We can talk about building your business.
You can ask us anything.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So does that come with a fee or it is pure mentorship?
No, it comes with a fee.
Yep.
Okay. So from listening to your audience, from getting all those requests, you turned it into another service within your business. So now you're doing consulting to help others either start a business or grow their business.
Absolutely. Yep.
Brilliant. Great idea. So thank you for sharing that with our audience. Now we have time for one last either tip or mistake. And what would you say? Do you have an idea? Do you want to give a tip or a mistake here?
So I'll give a mistake. And
okay.
This one is pretty straightforward, but you might have to dig into your business and what platforms you use. But we see a big mistake being people not using all of the searchable features on the platform that they're using. So I'll give the example of Instagram. When I say searchable features that your profile has, every profile has, you can be using hashtags because people search hashtags. You can be adding a location to every single one of your posts because people can search posts by location. And then the last one that's probably the biggest one is making sure that your name on your Instagram, and that's your name field, not your username, is searchable. For example, ours says Pittsburgh, PA website design, because people are not searching Waterloo Street. They're searching for a website design agency. And that is one of the biggest and easiest ways that people can find you. So put your expertise there rather than your business name, so that when people are searching business coach, sales coach, mentor, business mentor, that your profile is coming up as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. Viewers, go, if you're on Instagram, check out Waterloo Street so you can get an idea, a better idea of what Hannah and Rachel mean by that, by searchable. And before we go, could you give our audience what's the best way to get in contact with you?
You can either reach us at our website, which is waterloostreet.co, or we're always answering Instagram DMs, and that's just Waterloo Street.
All right, great. Thank you so much, both of you, for your knowledge, for sharing these tips to help others increase their business through marketing. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure. This is MJ Calloway signing out for today. And remember to make it a bounce up day.